their alliance. This is a picture that was taken just recently, and those guys are all in great alliance. So what is this all about, this Ezekiel 38:39 thing? So Israel's the little tiny country right over here, just the size, smaller than the size of the state of New Jersey, little tiny country. And then you see this huge country landmass of what is Russia, right? And then you could see Turkey, which is like right here, just north of Israel. This would be Turkey. And then Iran, which is Persia, is this big landmass right here. And they have been against Israel for a long time. That's what's been going on. Again, here's the size. Look at the size of Israel, this little tiny, tiny country, the size of New Jersey right here. I was just there not too long ago, and it was an amazing trip, by the way. So just during this war with Iran, when the U.S. bombed those nuclear sites during that time, Israel was also bombing areas in Syria because Assad left. He was the president of Syria. He left, went to Russia. And now we're seeing this guy who used to be Al-Qaeda, this terrorist who's puts a suit on with a tie. He claims to be president of Syria now. And here you can see where Israel bombed the runway of the international airport in Syria, in Damascus, right? So right here, they used some crater charges. I was in the Army Rangers. We had a demolition school, was taught by special forces, and it was all explosive stuff, how to blow things up. And we had these shape charges that were designed to take these runways out. They would make these huge, like 17 feet deep holes. It was crazy, right? So that's what they would do. So here you can see that right here, there's craters on these long runways, because you need long runways like this for their military aircraft and things like that. So they put a big crater charge here and here, right here and right here. It's basically big holes in the runway, and that's what they did to stop, basically from stopping other countries from bringing more weapons into Syria. That's why I believe they did that, and that's all could be part of this Ezekiel 38:39 war. So the lands of ancient Meshech, Tubal, and Beth Togarmah are widely identified by scholars as being the region of modern-day Turkey. Isn't that amazing? And Turkey is doing what? Highly involved in what's going on here in Israel. In Gaza, they've threatened Israel numerous times. In fact, Erdogan has just put out an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu, an arrest warrant for the president of Israel. And Benjamin Netanyahu is a good man. I don't care what the media says about him. He's a strong, good man who loves Israel. He's basically laying his own life down for his country. That's how much he loves his country. But he accused him, Erdogan, the president of Turkey, has accused Benjamin Netanyahu of war crimes, of genocide, which has actually been proven false. There was no genocide because the UN has an organization called UNICEF, and they hired a team of professionals to investigate whether there was famine or genocide going on in Gaza. And they do a special thing where they measure right here in the upper arm, and they took people representative from all over Gaza, the Gaza Strip, and they concluded that there was no genocide. It was all fake news. It was all a hoax. We got to be so careful of what we believe as Christians, right? So that's what happened there. And so Turkey's President Erdogan is condemning Israel. They want to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. And here's what's really interesting is they are a part of this coalition of Arab countries and that are going to come into Israel and be in the land of Israel between Gaza and Israel. And it's kind of secret right now, but they're making a huge U.S. military base there. And it's going to be, but this peace group or task force was going to be comprised of Turkey, some of these Saudi Arabia, some of these other countries, and they were going to, supposedly control the Palestinian people. Well, I hope this works. I don't think it will, but Turkey was also invited. But Benjamin Netanyahu said, no way. Israel said, no way. We will not accept Turkey being a part of this because Turkey has called for Israel's annihilation. Turkey has been allied with Hamas. All of a sudden, they want to be a part of this peace program? No way. No, they're not going to be sending any troops there as long as Israel has the right mind about it. So up here would be Russia. Here's Moscow. Now, it's interesting that directly north from Jerusalem, the farthest reaches of the north would be Moscow. So that is interesting. They could be a part of the Ezekiel 38-39 war. There's a lot of evidence that they are. And it says others too, not just Meshach, Tubal, Beth Togarmah, but others are involved in this war. So it could be numerous countries involved. Here's Iran, here's where Turkey is, Russia up here, and then the little country of Israel right there. And that's what the Ezekiel 38-39 war is all about. And it says that they'll come from the north in the mountains of Israel, but they will be destroyed. So here's the Sea of Galilee right here, you could see. I was just there not too long ago. It was awesome to be there. And the Sea of Galilee right here. But it's amazing. This is a small country. We drove from the Sea of Galilee, went over here to an archaeological site and stopped, had lunch, did all these different things, ended up driving all the way over here to Jericho, had dinner there, and then drove all the way into Jerusalem and still had a bunch of free time. So this is a tiny little strip of land that the whole world is so concerned about all of a sudden because it's the Jewish people, of course, and it's biblical. So here's the little tiny land of Israel. Here's all of Europe, right? Here's Asia over here, the Middle East, Africa. They're in the center of the world. It's amazing how God did that. And look at this map. This is interesting, right? Here's Israel, this little sliver of land. You could barely see their flag in there. And then here's Turkey, and here's Iran, and here's Saudi Arabia, and here's Iraq. I mean, here's Egypt, here's Libya, and these are all Muslim countries, huge populations, huge Muslim countries surrounding this little tiny Jewish nation, the nation of Israel. And God has nothing to do with them. Are you crazy? A lot of people act like modern day Israel has nothing to do with God. They're totally wrong about that. God has got his hand in it. So here's Turkey's President Erdogan with this, I can't even remember, is it Al-Sharib? I can't remember his name exactly. I think that's it. But this is the so-called president of Syria now, the self-proclaimed president of Syria. Just like Abbas is the self-proclaimed president of the Palestinians, which is really fake. So here's Turkey and him in alliance, and this is not good because he wants to rebuild the airport, the international airport in Damascus. That's what Turkey is doing right now. So there's a little picture of the Turkish Airlines. This is the Damascus International Airport, and Turkey is highly involved, leading the way in rebuilding this airport. And a lot of it has to do with security, and I believe military as well. And where is this? It's north of Israel. Remember that Ezekiel 39 army comes down, the evil army, the evil alliance comes down from the north to invade Israel. Here's a Turkish truck, and they're here in Damascus to help rebuild. And then here is where Israel blew up the runways to keep the resupply to Hezbollah and other evil organizations that were there to take out Israel, to try and wipe Israel off of the map. That's what they want to do, complete genocide. They don't just want to win a war, they want to destroy the Jewish people. So here it is, the Ezekiel 38. It starts out this way. It says, the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, set your face toward Gog. This is the leader, right? Of the land of Magog, the prince, the chief prince of Meshach. So Magog could be, it's that area north of the Caspian Mountains of southern Russia, even Ukraine. That area is the land of Magog. So it's interesting that, Russia could be involved in this. And then the prince, so it says the chief prince. So Gog could be this leader of Turkey because it says the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And that is the land of the area of Turkey. And prophesy against him and say, thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against you, O Gog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. There it is again. So the leader could be the leader of Turkey. I think it is. And then further down here, it says they come down from the north, and it says Persia, right? Which would be Iran. Persia's always been Iran. Cush, Libya, right? Put, Sudan and Libya, all these places, which are very, very Islamic jihadist types, right? And all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, right? This could be the area of, I believe, part of Turkey, but even maybe up into Eastern Germany. And all of his hordes, Beth Togarmah, this is definitely Turkey right here. And the uttermost parts of the north, the uttermost parts of the north would be like Russia, right? Okay. If you keep going north past Russia, you end up in Canada. So, it could be all of them with its hordes, many of them with you. And then what happens? God ends up destroying this army. They come in from the north down to attack Israel. But God lets this thing build up to this huge climax, just like World War II was built up into, like, it seemed like the end of the world. Many thought it was the tribulation period. Or like when the children of Israel were brought to the edge of the Red Sea, right? And the Egyptian army was coming down to destroy them, and God stops them, and then he parts the Red Sea at the last moment. This is how I believe God will do it. It'll be this build up to this crazy army coming down against Israel, like they have no hope, and then God will intervene right at the right time and at the peak of the craziest time of it, right? When it seems like all hope is lost, and God will save Israel. That's what the Bible says. That's what Ezekiel 38:39 says. That war has never happened. It will happen. So, hey, my friend, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Also, like this video. It helps get it out to the whole world. Share it, all those good things. But you can also check out this playlist, How to Find Jesus or See Jesus in the Old Testament. I think it'll bless you. It's an amazing thing. I wrote a book on the very subject, See Jesus in the Old Testament. It's available at Amazon and other bookstores, online bookstores, all of that. You can get a hard copy, paperback, all these different things, but it's 320 pages of where you can find Jesus in the Old Testament. I think you'll love it. But you can click on this playlist for free, See Jesus in the Old Testament right here, and I think you'll be blessed by it. God bless you. Remember this, Jesus wins in the end, my friend.